You crushed me when your father was dying, and you used to go to the hospital, I believe, and read to your father.
Yeah.
What were you reading to your dad when he was dying?
You know, basically the sports page. You know, I wasn't reading poetry. He was at a time in his life before he got sick, right before he got sick, where he was writing a lot of it. And one of the results of that was the poem that he read at Busch Stadium after 9/11. So he was always in this mode at the end of his life. He was a Depression-era kid. He was a World War II vet who got shot in Germany. He was in Paris when the war ended and saw de Gaulle speak. I mean, he lived a life. And at the end of his life, I think he knew the end was coming. He was very retrospective. He was writing a lot of poetry. He was watching a lot of war documentaries. And he was just kind of, it wasn't the sports Jack Buck anymore. It was, so I would read the sports page. I would read, you know, little excerpts out of a book that he was reading before he went into the hospital. But he was at the point where he was incapacitated. He had a trach, so he couldn't really talk. I mean, it was Shakespearean. It was this guy with this great voice, great mind. His mind was there to the end, but he couldn't speak. And he had to mouth everything to me. And so going there every day, I would try to find off times because I have 7 brothers and sisters, 1 full, 6 half, and everybody was coming in different shifts, but I tried to find all the off times because I just wanted it to be the 2 of us. And, you know, I've told the story a million times, and I'm not going to drone on about, you know, saying my goodbyes to him the night before he died, when I knew they were going to pull all the equipment and all the respirator and everything out of him. But I did a Cardinal game that night, and I was driving by the hospital, and, you know, he hadn't passed away yet, and my family had all left. And I went up to see him and said a couple things in his ear and kissed him goodbye, and he had passed away before I got to the car. And so and they had pulled the TV down by his head when I was doing it. It was a Cardinals-Angels game, and Darryl Kyle was going to die that same week. Mike Scioscia was amazing, pushing a game back. It was a crazy time. But he was listening to me doing the game, and I think he was waiting for me to come say goodbye. At least my narcissistic life thinks that. And maybe if I'd never gone, he'd still be alive today, 23 years later. But I did. I went and I said goodbye.
Media.
Yeah,
social media. They're gonna
you sure? Why would you go there?
Killer.
You
killed him.
Killer. You killed your father. Unbelievable.
Wow, that got sentimental and dark in a hurry.
Yeah, but he would love that. That was his sense of humor. The best thing I had with my dad was that I could make him laugh, even when I was a little kid. So he could take me on the road, and he was a tough audience, but I got through to him. And some of it was really dark, but he wanted me around. And that's what set up the rest of my life, by just being there with him on the road, seeing the life just from the eyes of a broadcaster and getting a master's class in it really every night.